Oh, what am I gonna do now?
What Darkwing Duck always does. Get back up. You know, you could do this for real.
What, be a superhero? I mean, sure, I'm scrappy, I'm brave, I look great in the cape.
Gizmo Duck does it.
I am better than Gizmo Duck.
It's one thing to play a hero, and it's another thing to actually be a hero. Do it for Jim.
I don't know. This whole thing sounds like it could get...
Dangerous? You already got one fan. Drake Mallard. Never heard of you.
It was all a setup. That hack put my fan in danger to steal the glory and humiliate me. They want grim and gritty, huh? Happy to play the part.
It's playtime! Welcome to another Flashquack episode of the St. Canard Files, a Darkwing Duck podcast. I'm your host, Will Santana, and...
I'm Mike Russo, and I am better than Gizmo Duck.
Are you, Mike? Really?
Yes.
You gonna take it there? All right, guys, for our listeners, we are continuing round 2 of our Roundtable. We still got Gadget with us, and we got Tim.
Hey!
Hi.
All right, guys, let's go ahead and get into this Roundtable, man. We had some fun with round 1. We had a lot more questions, but we couldn't get it done in one episode. So we said, hey, let's break it up for the audience. Now they get 2 episodes of it. We're going to drop these on a Friday, too, for you guys. So you have something to do on the way to work to end the week. All right. Well, we last ended, we were talking about conventions. But, Mike, let's start this first topic off with you. How do you feel Darkwing on Disney Plus would do with the younger generation for 2020?
Well, I hear it's doing pretty good so far. I guess that remains to be seen. I mean, Disney Plus has only been around for a couple of months at this point. I can't believe it's only been 2 months. Seems like forever now. I really hope it gets big. I really hope more kids get into it, just because it's going to help that when they do reboot the show. I mean, let's stop kidding ourselves. We know it's going to happen. When they do, kids will know about it. Kids will know who this is. That's why I think I'd love for him to have that built-in fan base already before a new version comes out. So I'm going to keep my fingers crossed that kids are being introduced to him through Disney Plus. So, we'll see what happens.
Gadget?
Well, I got some good news for you. I've been talking to a lot of people, and they're bringing their kids into Darkwing because they were so happy when they found out he was on there and it wasn't changed. It stayed the SD and everything and stuff. And I talked to one father of a child who's actually autistic, and he says his son loves it because, especially Goslin and Honker, he relates more to Honker because Honker is so shy and everything. And he says that's me and everything. I want to and everything. And he says he loves it. And I'm waiting to see what the new one brings, because if the kids are gravitating like now, this is great. Mm-hmm. Disney Plus did an A+.
Tim?
I don't think it's just Disney Plus that is introducing Darkwing to a younger audience. I think Ducktales, the TV show, has done that as well. I think that everything kind of links together, and I've noticed too that there have been a lot of YouTube videos where there've been younger commentators who are kind of in their early 20s, and they've grown up they've been born in sort of the late 90s, so they didn't get to experience Darkwing first time, and they're curious to know about the plot points about the show, the Ducktales show, where it's going. So the only way they can do that, shush these creations from the past, they end up looking backwards at all this other stuff. And I think a new successful DuckTales does that. It helps feed the past.
I gotta say this: the sequence of events was perfect this last year. You had The Duck Knight Returns came out in May, Everybody started talking about Darkwing Duck after that, and a few months later, boom, Disney Plus launched, and everybody who wanted to could watch all but one episode of Darkwing Duck. So it lined up perfectly. If you wanted to watch it and you were curious, it was right there.
Gadget, anything you want to say what Tim said about the DuckTales also helping along with the Disney Plus?
I believe it because, see, the Darkwing we have now for 2020 is the Darkwing that would be me, who also was bullied as a child or anything, and looked to Darkwing when I was in the 90s watching that and saying, if he can get up off his face, what the, like, I can do that, you know, and everything, because that spoke to all of us people or children at the time or teens and everything that couldn't have a voice back then, you know, and now I would love to know how with Negaduck and everything and stuff, how they're going to do that too, because you notice he was the old school Negaduck clothing. Are they going to try to say that it's dimensional? Because are we looking at the actor? Are we looking at the Darkwing? Are we looking at our own self?
All right. In 2019, we had iTunes and Google Play release Darkwing digitally. Do you guys expect to see more digital releases with Vudu and Amazon or so forth? Let's start off with you, Gadget.
I'm thinking, and a lot of people are going to fight for it because even though Disney Plus has that right to it and everything and stuff, I still think other formats should be loaned out. Maybe we will get a chance to see a certain episode because of that. I know YouTube, we can find that episode, but I'm hoping that one day Darkwing will be complete and all whole together, including his new incarnation and everything.
Tim?
Yeah, I think possibly we could see it on more platforms. And again, maybe there's some special release planned because of the 30th anniversary of the Disney Afternoon this year.
Okay. Mike?
I think, honestly, not to be Captain Bringdown, I think no. I think it's very telling how the iTunes and was it iTunes, right? The iTunes versions came out right before Disney Plus, as if Disney wanted to squeeze some money out of people in those formats right before they moved everything to Disney Plus, and that's where everything's going to stay. Disney wants you paying for Disney Plus, period. I think at this point, the chance of seeing the show pop up anywhere else, I think are pretty low because Disney put all their eggs in the Disney Plus basket. And I think that's just where they're going to want to keep it, personally. If it shows up in different places, that would be great, but I'm not expecting it.
Okay, that's fair enough. You know, I could see it possibly because, you know, personally, I think there's money to be made and people will prefer to own it than just streaming it on Disney Plus. You know, there's some people who want to own it, but that's just my opinion. It's possible. My hopes are not too high for it, but let's move on. All right. Well, Tim, let's start off with you on this next topic. Volume 3 never got released on DVD. Do you think we could ever expect a Volume 3 DVD release or maybe even possibly a Blu-ray release?
I think this comes down to an argument as to whether we believe physical media is going to survive into the future and the demand for that. I think that's probably a bigger question. I'm not quite sure, actually.
Gadget?
Well, have you noticed that LPs are starting to come back and everything, long playing records? Because I just picked up the Frozen one, and I'm noticing that it's starting to revamp because now they're making high def cassettes as well as CDs and everything. So we may go flipping back to where we were in the 80s and 90s. We might start seeing that media format again. And it's interesting because I'm looking at the way this record is right now, and it looks pretty good. It's like it's getting set up for a digital version of our analog versions.
Okay, Mike?
I think in this case, for me, it's a more definitive no. I think it won't be long before even the big Disney movies stop getting disc releases. I really think we're in the dying days of Disney on DVD. I really think they're done. The Disney Plus is killing that. I really don't think they're ever going to go back to disc for their TV shows ever again. I just don't see it. And we've gotten very little on DVD in the past decade, and even what we've gotten were all exclusive to the Disney Movie Club. I just don't think it's happening. Just like the other formats, like the iTunes stuff, they want you to pay for Disney Plus. And to answer the question about Blu-ray, absolutely not. I do not want Disney taking this show and remastering it in HD after what they did to Goof Troop and Rescue Rangers.
Oh God, no! Please.
They were cropped. They had to reshoot the openings. The credits look weird. I do not want them taking Darkwing Duck and messing with it that way. I do not want to see it on Blu-ray. It probably won't happen anyway. No show has been released on Blu-ray from Disney. So I really don't think we're ever going to see Darkwing finished on disc. I think we should be really happy it's all up on Disney Plus, except Hot Spells, because I think that's where it's going to stay.
Now, Mike, feeding off of what you just said, if they ever did release Volume 3, do you think they would kind of do it like Ducktales Volume 4, where it will be a Disney Movie Club exclusive only first to test it out?
If it happens, it's going to be exclusive to the Movie Club.
Okay.
If it happens, that's how they're going to do it.
Now, Tim, do you guys have like exclusive like Disney movie clubs out there in the UK?
I couldn't tell you, I'm afraid. Very sorry.
Okay, all right. Well, let's just move on. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Tim.
I was just going to say, we get Disney Plus, I think, in March. Although I think everyone knows who Baby Yoda is now. I don't think that's a secret.
Wait a minute. So, Tim, y'all don't have Disney Plus yet?
I don't know. There was a 6-month gap, I believe, between them, the US and the.
Oh, okay.
The bigger release.
Because I know the Netherlands had it before the U.S. I remember the Netherlands had it for a couple months, and then we finally got it. So I assumed once we got it, the U.K. probably got it a few weeks after us or something.
No, they were rolling those out slowly.
Okay. Hey, it's a good, interesting fact I just learned here. All right, but moving along. With all the Disney afternoon cameos and DuckTales that's been planned, any reboots this year, and do you believe there could be an entire Disney afternoon block return? Let's start off with you, Gadget.
If everything goes well and the fans want it, I could see it happening, and I'm hoping it happens, but we have to see how Darkwing treads this water of 2020-21 and everything. He's the catalyst for all of this.
Mm-hmm. So you don't see Goof Troop, Chip and Dale, none of those coming back this year, 2020? No chance of those possibly?
I see Goof Troop as incorporated, as we'll probably see Max and Goofy as like, you know what I mean, visiting and everything, because they have to visit Donald and all that stuff. But I have a funny feeling that some of this might be shows on their channels that the kids are watching and everything. So you never know, because Rescue Rangers could be a TV show, just like Darkwing was a TV show on there. Okay, Mike?
Well, I don't think the Goofy thing is going to be a TV show, because they mentioned Spoonerville in the very first episode. So that town exists. I'm guessing Goofy's probably going to be a friend of Donald from way back. But anyway, and the Tailspin thing, Don Carnage is on the show, so I think they're going to be part of the actual show. But as a full-blown revival of all of these shows, is that what you're asking, Will?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think it's just Darkwing and DuckTales were the big ones. Like, those were the big ones, and Gargoyles, too. I think something's going to happen with that show sooner or later. I don't think Goof Troop, Rescue Rangers, Tailspin will ever actually come back. And I think we're very lucky we're getting what we're getting from DuckTales. Honestly, I never in a million years thought they would do that. I'm just sitting here hoping for Darkwing. Anything else we get at this point is gravy.
How about you, Tim?
Yeah, kind of going off what Mike said. I mean, I remember when Gummy Bears came out in the mid 80s, and that Gummy Bears, I believe that was part of the Disney Afternoon at one stage.
Yeah,
or certainly.
eventually.
Yeah, and certainly leading up to it. And I remember that was just massive. That was huge. And now it's an Easter egg on one of the episodes. And there's a lot of young kids who are kind of looking at it curiously. But I remember it was kind of huge. And I can't, unless there, I mean, obviously, if there's the demand for it, then yes, you would have that bigger block. But I think they're going to be so burned out by the time they've done this big kind of extended universe thing, just going off the poster for season 3. And you know, and we might like to see the characters as they are in the DuckTales verse, so to speak. It might make more sense because things, you know, change and evolve. And do we even have programming blocks anymore? If we're talking about the Disney Afternoon in the traditional sense, where it was whatever it was, 2 hours or an hour of programming.
3 hours for me.
Wow.
3 hours. Wow. For me, it was always 2.
Yeah, it was 2 for me also. But I was in another country. I was in Puerto Rico, so I was lucky to get it in English sometimes. Okay, but all right, let's move along. Tim, I want to start this one off with you. The Darkwing character, do you think we will see that character at Disney World, Disneyland, or Disney wherever in 2020? You know, the dressing up character, the costume?
Is he not there already?
I haven't heard of him really being there. I've heard of him randomly popping up at like dinners and some of the resorts, but not like in the parks. Like, He's not a character you could see daily.
He showed up at Disneyland once last year for a 90s night. I have not heard of him showing up at Disney World in a very long time.
He is technically retired, but comes out of retirement for fun stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And everything, because I got to see him once when we went to Disney when my niece was little, but I missed the meet and greet and everything to get the picture and everything, and that was the last time I saw him, and that was early 2000 and stuff. It was just like a one-time random at Disney World, and that's it. They put him back in.
Now with Mike, with the DuckTales reboot, Disney Plus and Darkwing just booming on there, do you think maybe we can get it? Maybe Disney will sneak them out a little more for 2020?
I don't think it'll have to do with Disney Plus and DuckTales, but like we said earlier, we got the 30th anniversary of the Disney Afternoon this year, and Darkwing Duck turns 30 next year. If he's going to show up in the parks, it's going to be sometime in the next 2 years to celebrate those anniversaries. But knowing Disney, it's going to be like a ticketed event where only certain people who can afford it can show up. I don't think Darkwing's just going to show up in parks anymore. I think they'll bring him out for the anniversaries, but it'll be for special events still.
Okay,
I agree.
You don't think they'll announce it? It'll kind of be just, you got to just be lucky to be there, huh?
It might be. Yeah. It might be in the D23 newsletter if you guys subscribe to D23.
But who knows? Back in May, they had Scrooge and Launchpad visiting an Animal Kingdom, tying directly to the new DuckTales. Mm-hmm. So, if there's a new Darkwing Duck, if there is a brand new show, they are probably going to bring him back in some form. But I think they probably won't until that happens.
I would love to see him crash the Marvel universe there.
All right. All right, hot spells. We got to talk about the Forbidden Fruit real quick. The Forbidden Fruit hot spells seeing the light of day in 2020 digitally or on Disney Plus. Mike, will it ever get the light of day?
No, I don't. I'm not getting hopeful on that at all. If they didn't put it on Disney Plus, it didn't show up on iTunes or wherever the show is right now. Everybody keeps talking about it, so Disney's aware it's a banned episode. I just don't think it's ever going to happen. It's just one of those things that's unless a lot of people write to Disney asking for it, I just don't think it's going to happen.
Tim?
I just feel. Yeah, sorry. Go on. No, Tim, go ahead.
No, please keep going, Mike. I think I'm leaning towards your argument.
I think Hot Spells is joining Song of the South and a handful of permanently banned things that no matter what you do, we're just not going to see it. I think Disney Plus was the last chance we had of that showing up. Scratch that. I think if they do a DVD set, I think that's our only chance because they're not going to sell you a $40 set with a missing episode. I think that's our last chance. But since I don't think that's going to happen, I don't think we're ever legally going to see Hot Spells ever again.
Yeah.
Personally.
Well, I don't understand this because Bart gets away with selling Homer Soul on Disney Plus every day, and yet Gosling can't sell Darkwings. And you see the devil come back in another episode and everything. It's and it's the mildest of all the episodes and everything because I understand maybe it's because of the naiveness and the gullibility factor and everything, but you got to remember a lot of times kids do get gullible at some point and everything if they're not raised right, and then it's saying oh no, but then you got to remember Gosling has that twist with her. She always breaks the fourth wall, and I'm just sad it's not there because if they let Bart get away with things, why can't they let Gosling?
Okay, Tim, feeding off of what Mike said about the DVD release, that might be the only way. For Tailspin, Lost Horizons and Flying Dupes are on the DVD set. So do you think maybe that's the only way we might get it?
I'm not really too informed in these matters, but possibly. What Mike had said it seemed logical, I think.
Mm-hmm. Mike?
Well, I guess it remains to be seen. The whole thing with the Hot Spells is that it aired on a major network. Something like Dead Duck got away with it because it was syndicated. Mm-hmm. And there wasn't a major network Disney had to answer to. But Hot Spells was on ABC. Somebody complained. ABC overreacted. Then Disney overreacted. And then it just has this stigma now for 28 years. And unfortunately, the more people can't stop talking about banned Disney things, the more Disney's going to dig its heels. I think the more people won't shut up about, Song of the South, the more we're never going to see it. Because when it finally does show up, people will complain that it exists. And then Disney's up a creek no matter what they do. So that's why I think Hot Spells is gone. Because when it does come back, it's so infamous now that if they bring it back, just as many people are going to complain that are happy about it. So I think Disney's I think we're never going to see it again.
But yet they brought all the bonker stuff. That's what got me.
The more you talk about things, the more you risk Disney coming to their senses.
There is a sheer sort of moral hypocrisy too when you look at Darkwing. You look at how much stuff was loaded in there that only really adults could get, or there was a lot of dark humor. Where there was death for the first time in a Disney afternoon show. It was quite groundbreaking in many ways, and you think that that's the one thing that kind of pushes them over. I don't know. It sort of escapes me a bit.
What bothers me more than Hot Spells is the fact that there's 2 random Ducktales episodes that for some reason are now banned. I don't even know why. I get Hot Spells, but the Launchpad Civil War episode, is it because of Confederate flags? Why all of a sudden is that episode banned? It never was before. That actually bothers me more.
Now, Gadget, you mentioned that you didn't understand it because of the censoring, but do you think they're ever going to release it, or you just you kind of just feel, well, the Simpsons out, might as well.
Right, because it's like we have people that the way times are changing, we've been desensitized to a lot of things. This is just like icing on the cake. Like I've shown this episode on YouTube to people and they're like, there's nothing wrong with that and everything, because with video games, there's more video game violence than anything and stuff. You see more people dying, doing all the other stuff. You see what Bart does in The Simpsons. I show this and they're like, and it's one of the topics I always talk with people about, because they said, wasn't there an episode? I said, yeah, this is it. They go, there's nothing wrong with it. She just got misled. Is it something that happened? That kids do get misled by strangers and everything. And it's the parent's job to explain the show. And if some parent dropped the ball on that, oh, well, no one else should suffer, because society has changed to the point where we're desensitized to a lot of stuff.
I think the episode just can't escape its reputation, I think, at this point.
Okay. Now, Tim, is Disney Plus even released out in the UK? You kind of said like y'all haven't gotten it yet, or it just came out there and you don't have it yet?
No, I believe. Sorry, I might have my facts completely wrong, but I think it's March that it comes out. I know that a lot of people over here were kind of a bit annoyed that they didn't get to see The Mandalorian at the same time, so they couldn't be involved with the discussion of Baby Yoda, because that's become a huge meme now, as we know.
Now, Tim, when you guys get Disney Plus, what Darkwing episodes you're gonna just jump right to?
Oh, that's like being given a swimming pool full of cake and saying which part are you gonna, No, I all of it. I don't know. I mean, my favorite episode is one of them is Dry Hard, so I'd probably just to see that again will give me goosebumps. But yeah, no.
Tim, you start where I started, that sinking feeling. The very first one. You start with that one.
Now, Gadget, you've had Disney Plus for a while. Is there like any episodes you feel like you have to tackle for 2020?
Of Darkwing or of the Disney afternoon?
For Darkwing.
Oh my God, I've been watching them like periodically in my free time and everything, and I'm sitting there going like, I remember this. I remember coming home from high school when I saw this. I remember seeing this, and I'm like, oh my God, they had not changed them or edited them, which was good. But out of all of them, a lot of my favorites had to do later on when it was more Goslin, Darkwing, and Morgana, like all the craziness and everything. I know we didn't see Launchpad as much and everything, but I like when they break that fourth wall. That's what I always look for, that fourth wall break. The original Deadpool.
Now, Mike, I know we have to review them in order, but put that aside for a second. What episodes you feel you want to watch for 2020?
The rest of the Saturday morning ones that I haven't seen a good quality copy of in close to 30 years.
Yeah.
Because I marathon the show at least once a year. So I have so many of these episodes memorized already. I don't need to go back and rewatch them. And I do kind of want to save them for when we watch the show, for the podcast. But I'm looking forward to seeing Tiff of the Titans and Brush with Oblivion again. I do want to see those again. And what was the other one I wanted to see? Steerminator.
Okay.
as well.
yeah.
But I'll get to them. The ones I really wanted to watch were Negaduck and That Sinking Feeling, and I did watch those already. So.
All right. Okay, Mike, you're exempt from this next topic real quick. Tim, who would you like to see on our podcast for 2020?
I'll tell you who I'd really like to hear on your podcast. There's a guy called Fred Water, who was one of the background layout artists on Darkwing Duck, and when I spoke to Tad Stones about him, he, I think, was responsible for kind of giving the show that the background art very much a Looney Tunes, Maurice Noble, Chuck Jones kind of caricatured look, and also using very limited color tones too to the background art. And there's a lot of that in the Goofy movie as well. And anyway, I would love you to sit down with him and really pick his brains about the show and
Fred
get
Water?
Yeah.
What's Fred Water?
And
Okay.
Paul Felix as well.
Okay. Gadget, how about you?
Well, Dan could probably come back. Dan Castellaneta. I can never pronounce his last name.
Castellaneta.
Yeah, I want to hear his take on everything, as well as I would love.
We'd probably have to pay him.
Yeah, he's still big. He's still so relevant.
I know, that's why.
Mr. Homer Simpson.
Yeah.
That's why you can also tie in the hot spells and everything and stuff and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Because how does Bart get away, right? And everything. But also want to see the new art design, like the cast members and everything who are designing the new Darkwing and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see their take on how they still had a 90s flair with a little bit of a 2000 twist and everything, because the artwork was beautiful and everything. And a lot of other things that could come about, like I do wish that Christina didn't pass away, but I would have loved for you guys to interview her and everything.
Well, I do want to answer this question because just because I work on this podcast doesn't mean I have goals for guests. I want one of the Disney Australia animators. I need to find these people. They speak English. They're out there. I'm working with a Disney animator right now that I've talked to try to find these people. They're out there, but we're having trouble. They would probably have so much great information about animating the show, and I'm working on trying to locate them. It hasn't been easy, but I hope we find somebody. So I would love to get an actual animator on the show.
Okay. All right. Well, Mike, this episode of this Flashquack will drop at the end of January, so we can kind of give them a sneak of who we got interviewed, who's coming up on one of our Flashquacks.
Yeah, in February we have a Flashquack coming up. We recently interviewed Neil Ross, the voice of Nod Off.
Yeah,
nice.
from Doing My Dreams. So, Tim, are you interested in listening to that interview with Neil Ross?
Absolutely, yeah. No, I'd be great just to hear about the recording sessions, about the process of how they recorded things back then too, because Tad Stones has mentioned that it was sort of more of a communal feeling as opposed to everything being done remotely on that show, and it'd be great to just get some real insight onto that.
Tim,
he actually mentioned that.
Sorry. Tim, have you ever seen the video Tad posted last year?
Yes.
The recording session for Justice Ducks?
Yes. Yeah. Brilliant.
I tried to find it, but I think he might have taken it down. They were all in the same room. Everyone but Terry.
Yeah, it's a fantastic video.
The coolest video.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, guys, let's go ahead and wrap this up for our second round table. We hope you guys enjoyed our 2020 discussion of, expectations, predictions for 2020. Gadget, where can our listeners find you at?
You can find me at Gadget Pendragon. That's on Instagram and Facebook, as well as Gadget Vlogs on YouTube and Facebook. And my other Instagram is Gadget7676 plus Customized Girl if you're looking for anything interesting with Disney and other types of quotes from the Disney afternoon. You can check them out there.
All right. And Tim?
You can find my website at www.timpartridge.info, and I have an interview on there with Darkwing Duck's creator, Tad Stones.
All right. I'm jealous of that too, by the way. And Mike?
Facebook. That's where I'm at.
All right.
Mike
and
Russo.
Mike, where can they listen to our podcast at? Good luck on that.
Oh, Lord. Stitcher, Spotify, Apple devices, Google Play, Pocket Cast, Radio Public. We just discovered recently we're on all these other apps that we didn't even know existed. We are also on YouTube. You can find us on Amazon Echo. We are on iHeartRadio and Pandora. We are everywhere. You want to listen to us, you have so many options. The options surprise us.
Yeah, it really did. Mike, you did good. You did good on that.
I put Darkwing Duck podcast into Google, and it showed up with all of these podcast apps with our show on it. So we are out there. You can find us, and you people out there have no excuse not to listen to us. So listen, enjoy, and let's get dangerous.
All right, definitely stay dangerous, and we'll have Tim later on for one of the episodes. We got a while before we get to it, but Tim, you're going to still stick with us, right?
Absolutely.
All right, we got to get Gadget back, Mike. We got to get her back for an episode.
I wonder which one you guys will pick.
We'll work it out.
Yeah, we'll work something out. But appreciate you guys.
Gosling, Keen Gear.
All right, but we appreciate you guys tuning in, and stay dangerous.
Good night.
Night, guys.
Bye.